Hello, hello, welcome back. All right, custard. I hope everybody's just only thinking about custard, only eating custard, frozen custard, that is. We have people from different countries. Custard means different things. Frozen custard, Milwaukee favorite. Um, I'm going to talk about logo development, and I'm going to talk about the next steps in the process, which is the poster and then flyer. And I'm going to change some things around. I did some work. I did a lot of work last night. Not a lot, but I got excited and I started knocking some stuff out. So let's just go here. So preview. This is so it looks like your screen, of course, weekly. Week 6. Why is week 1? Oh, I got to fix that, hey? I have a gap. And why is nothing scrolling? All right. We have the Frozen Custard Festival Part 2. This is where we're going to get into, we're going to do the additional, versions of your logo. If you haven't done that yet, if you spent the entire week kind of getting things set up, picking your favorite or doing a couple of each, whatever that was to get it out. And now poster and flyer. And I have the supplied things, custard, poster, flyer. Just grab them. All the stuff you'll eventually need. We'll talk more about it later. Don't like right now, just we're doing one thing at a time. The reason being is we want to set that the look and feel for the entire project and not do everything and then have one thing look like one look like the other, one look like this, one look like that. Like, let's get the poster, and then we're going to do that idea where we design our poster and we just copy everything from the poster and put it in the flyer. And then we're going to do a tent, and then we're going to do sandwich boards, and then but everything, nothing changes. Like once you set your look and feel, nothing changes. And I'll get into that a little bit more. We have body copy that we want incorporated, kind of like a header body copy, and then 5 bullet points. And I'll show you that. Make sure we check our do nots, do's. Make sure you're checking those. Here's the timeline and all that other jazz. The other assignments, you know what to do. Exploring media, make sure it's media. What are you seeing on the old, every time you open your phone, what are the ads? What's the pop-ups? What are all those things? Like find one, you're like, oh, this one always pops up. And, it's crazy. You look for something on the internet, and then how many ads you get for it. Even if you purchased it, you still get ads for months. You'd be like, I already purchased it. Can we not get ads for it? And then every designer needs to know. So we got those things. So let's keep rolling. Let me show you what I've been up to. It's fun stuff. I think it's fun. So I don't know if you remember last class. I left off here, and I was working with you, and I was like, oh, something with Crystal, and I just kind of really in 2 minutes I did this earlier, and before class started, and I think I'm gonna go further with this, but I think I will do another version and show that on Tuesday. I hope. I got some. We've got some things going on, so I don't know how much free time I have. But I may expand on this. But, like that came from this scribble turned into this scribble, which will turn into more stuff. Like it's just all about the scribbles and developing it. So let's talk about that. I was trying to think of like that crystal idea that I talked about on Tuesday, because today's Thursday. We're offset. It wasn't resonating right away. I couldn't get it. I couldn't feel it. It was like there's an idea there, but I can't feel it. And I was watching some YouTube tutorials about this guy who does like hand lettering, but he does it in Fresco, and he does it in Fresco for digital sketching on an iPad. I think you have access to Fresco with your student account. I'm not really sure. I happen to have it. I have a really old iPad from MATC that I use, and I have a $14 knockoff Apple Pencil that's like not pressure sensitive, like, but it gets the job done if you want to do it, if you want to sketch digitally. I go cheap whenever I can. But so I wanted that. And so last night I had to take my son to parkour, and I sit around, it's like 50 minutes. And so I brought the iPad, and this guy does these drawings. At first I started this. I don't know what started this. I did a move and I was like, oh wait, I kind of like this, but I actually never came back to this. Or I did the H and I was like, this isn't going to work, but I like the C. And I was like, he always draws these wiggly letters. And I was like, all right, there's my first attempt at wiggly letters. And I just combined, did some basic, like literally all of this happened within 45 minutes. And it's just drawing. And then, then my experiment was like, what am I gonna do with Vil? And then so I did this. And then, another layer, I'm like, oh, I don't like the E. I want to do a lowercase e because I'm doing lower cases. And so the capital E wasn't working for me. And then I started playing around more with like the wiggly letters, and it's just a different brush. Like this is a brush to make it look like pencil. And then this is one like more vector. And I just keep playing. And then like, why write 2 L's when you can just copy and paste another one in there? Like find those tricks, and then I think when I'm working on this, everything was at an angle and it was starting to bug me a little bit. I don't know if I fixed it yet. Oh, but then I was like, the next thing I should do is what if I make it look drippy, like ice cream? And so I'm just playing around here. I'm just looking at what might work, what might not work. I've never tried this before. And so I'm just slowly going about it. There's a lot of erasing, and again, this is just trials. What is this layer here? Oh, I think I did a full Vil, pulled it to the side. I'm not sure why I did that. Oh, there's a stack. So this is stacked. Oh, and this is a background because I did like, oh, I did this. So at one point I was like, oh, what if I make the I ice cream? And it started with 1 scoop, the I, and I was like, no, I'm doing triple scoop. Like, how fun is that? And then, so this is a base. And then I added this. This is like, what if I shadowed it and like 1 second of lines? I was like, no, don't shadow everything. You don't need to do the shadow on everything I do. So I was like, no. So this all happened within 45-minute tops. I'm looking up, I'm watching my son a little bit, doing it, I'm sitting on a weird couch, I'm sitting on a couch with people around me, just scratching away. And I got to this far. And then we drove home. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to bust out my drawing screen, my drawing screen that I prefer, that is pressure sensitive. It works. Oh, let me talk about that. If you have any inkling to want to delve into digital drawing, start cheap and then move up and look around. Everybody's be like, iPad. iPads work. I don't like my iPad. It's small, it's heavy, and it doesn't accept pressure sensitive pen. I don't want to pay for one myself. I don't need an extra peripheral around. I don't use the iPad very much. Like, it sits around. I think my son plays games on it more than I use it. But once in a while, I'll bust it out and sketch on it. I have a drawing screen, which you can get now for like, it's cheaper. I think it's cheaper than an iPad, like $250. They're bigger. It's a bigger screen and whatever, and it's pressure sensitive, tilt sensitive. And it just plugs into your USB port on your computer or your HDMI. And they're wonderful. And they're cheap ones. Like, don't look for Wacom. Look, I have a knockoff. It's called XPen 2. We are getting some for the department. I know, you're getting in the 4th semester. Maybe you stop in, you can try them out. Like, we're going to have them, try them out. I love them. I use it as much as I can. I use it for grading. That's why, you know, my scratchy circles and fix this is all done on the drawing screen. That's what I use. So this was done up to a point, and then we got home, got them showered up, got them ready, watching TV, and so I had another 45 minutes to an hour, and I started to develop the logos even more. So this was, I brought in the image so I could trace on top of it. This is messed up just because it's not linking, but whatever. And then I'll turn that off. I developed one. I'll zoom in on one just so you can see it. This is what I came up with. So if I zoom in, it's the same lettering, and now it's colored. And now it has the line variation that I was talking about to get it look like it's melting. And I added the 3 scoops of ice cream, you know, custard, excuse me, oh Lord. And then I just hand wrote this, you know. And so that was one. And this is just kind of getting it down. This is just retracing my lines and then filling in stuff. So it really didn't take all that long. And then once I had that done, I was like, okay, let's do variations. Here's one like this, you know, put that around, because I'm pretty happy with this. And then here's another variation, getting, you know, too tall. Here's another variation off to the side, you know, just trying stuff out. Here's another variation, you know, and I think I stayed with this. And then I did another variation, strawberry, vanilla, and chocolate. I don't like the chocolate one. I don't like the chocolate one because I don't like the bright outline, and I don't want to do, I'll probably change this magenta outline. This is why that image is showing up crappy. I'd change this. You know, these outlines will change. I just didn't do it yet. But here, I kind of like the pink, you know, the pink with the dark pink, and then everything sets off. I'm trying to reduce my color usage. So it's a dark blue, magenta, brown, and orange. 4 colors. So this is 4 colors. This is 4 colors. I could possibly bring it down to 3 colors, but that might mean making like the outline brown to remove the blue. But I do like the blue darker. Oh, I'm missing part of my shadow here. What happened to my shadow? Oh, somewhere in the, you know, I got to fix that, but no big deal. So these are just all, again, variations on a theme. And at this point, I'm just copying and pasting and moving things around. What if I put this word here? What if I put that word? What if I move this here? What if I did that there? And that's all I'm doing. And, you know, like, and then, you know, and I was really happy with the blue, but then again, I was like, blue doesn't really, you know, except for one flavor, which is Blue Moon, you don't really have blue. It just was representing cold. But then when I came to this, I was like, these are the ones that like resonate most with me. And I'll maybe play a little bit more, I guess. I mean, if I have the light pink is just the same version of the dark pink. It's just 50% of it. So it's not a new color. I might be pretty good with this with 4 color. You know, it's not 1,000 colors. And then my other thought is like, you know, can I then, the other thing that sometimes think about is like, okay, if you have this, why don't we, you know, make sure that if I do shift copy, I'm running out of room. Oh, I don't want it on the gray though. Let's put it down here. And I'm just gonna zoom through it and do a couple things like really quick. What if, you know, there's no outline. Where's the outline? Black. Oh, there's a slight outline. Like what if I just turn everything so it's black and white? And then these would be grays. And so what does that experiment look like? So I know like, oh, it's got to be printed in a newspaper or something like that. Like, what is that? And so you just start to change it all to black. I'll just do the upper word so I don't, spend hours with you. It's not hours, it's quick, but it's a little bit. I do have these on layers. It would make it quicker if I just activated just went through the layers, but just clicking on everything, and nothing's a stroke. Everything is nothing's supposed to be a stroke. I think I may have done that post. I like to work in shapes. It's just easier. Then you're not moving back and forth and trying to do like, a stroke is a different fill than, a stroke is a different fill style than a fill. And so like all these are, as you can see, these are fills. These aren't strokes. That's the blob brush for you. I've taught the blob brush. If you want to use it more, like use it. These actually should all be connected. That would make life easier. Let's do the black. And then this would be like, oh. Oh, let's just do it here. Nope. I want those that. I want this. This at 75. Yeah. And then again, this is just to see how it looks and say like we needed to do a black and white version. I know there's color, but like here's the conversion. I can convert this to black and white and it still reads well. I'd go in and clean up this crud down here. Those gaps, those white gaps are really jarring, but those are easy to clean up. You can just erase those out. But when it's in the full color version, they don't show, or it shows that it's like ice cream below. And so it's not as jarring. But again, that's just a play around and just having some fun, having some fun with that. So now we go, and this is going to be that old one. This is Scoop MKE. I'll work on a poster and a flyer, hopefully for Tuesday, to be able to show you the development of that. But I want to show you my development for my original Scoop MKE that I did a while back. This is the Pantone stuff I taught you all, and about making spot colors. Let's see, where are my colors? This is the new color. This is the colors that I used. Logos, there it is. So if I was like working with this one, I found some fonts that I like to use, and I kind of did my logos in the different colors. And then here I posted my logo. So this is poster time. And the poster needs to include all the work that we talked about. And so it just starts to like, you develop it. Like I wanted the logo nice and big. The logo needs to be big. This is where advertising on a poster, the logo shouldn't be like real small. And there's a lot to put on here, but it's doable. And at this point, unlike the Bubbler project, where I wanted like people in it, is like people engaging with the college students, and they get to see, and they're like, oh, look at that college student. This, I didn't worry about that, because this is, I want to say, like more informative than like trying to get people to, trying to entice them with like, cool, I want to be like that. So my first inkling was like, okay, we'll start with the background, but then I'm going to waffle cone it. So that's just like giant, like I just made lines and they're transparent. And like when you zoom in on it, it's like sort of waffle coney, if that's a word, waffle coney. Because sometimes, a lot of times you can get custard in a waffle cone. And then we need to add in all this things. So there's a date, there's body copy, and then there's 5 bullet points, and I left room for something else, and I can't remember what it is. But let's turn on my margin, and then, oh, that was weird. There it goes. But let's walk through it a little bit slower. Logos is on. Okay, body copy, but I wanted the body copy to pop, right? I want people to read it, and so I did this, and where all my colors are represented here. I think overall, I just didn't use green, but all my colors are represented, and it's 4 colors to keep that down. Like I'm not adding more and more and more and more colors. Oh, black. Black would be the add, because I didn't like the green. So here it is, so far I have a big logo. So people is Scoop, MKE, Frozen Custard Fest, hierarchy, and then secondary. Join us for a mouthwatering journey. This is, and then these are bullet points of information. Family fun, live demonstrations, indulge yourself. Like this is all secondary. So they read it, and then as you want to read more, you can read more. You don't have to read more, but it's all there. So, and then I need to add the date. So I was like, let's add the date in a really weird way. A little vanilla custard dripping down. It's a little tough to read, but this is done with the envelope distort. I love that tool. I love envelope distort. I think I've showed that. I hope I've showed it. Envelope distort, you can do some really cool stuff. Let's show it over here real quick. I just typed out Scoop MKE. I'll make it big. I'm going to do just a fat. We'll do that. I'm going to hit a return on this. Return. Let's center it because it's a title and I can. This is too gappy for me. Let's bring that down. 125. It's all experimentation. I don't know the number. I just type in stuff until I get where look, 200 works really good. Now I can I do it with both? I'm gonna take the blob brush and like, okay. Why is that all jaggedy? Oh, because it's showing me that it's that. And I'm going to remove. So I want a solid shape. Outline that. And I believe, I don't use it all the time, but I think that shape needs to go on top. And I don't think they have to be like aligned, but I'll make sure object, arrange, bring the front. Then you select both. And then you go to object, envelope distort, warp, make with top object. Oh, I should have read what it said. Is it thinks this is more than one thing? Let's type, let's create outlines, see if that was a problem. Oh, why is it not a single mesh? This should be right. I don't know why it's not liking that. Object. Oh, let's double check. Object, range, bring the front. These are those things. Doesn't always work. You just got to figure out a new way. Okay, let's just try the pencil. I don't have the pencil tool. Let's do that weird shape. Object, envelope, distort, make it top. There you go. You mess around with it. I love it. I don't know why it didn't work with the, oh, I know why. I know why. So I'm going to teach you that. Why? Because I like that first one I did. I know exactly why now. Because I knocked out the center, the computer thinks that this is still clipping mask. And I bet you if I go down, you sometimes have to release these things and you don't know. Like this looks like a normal shape, right? But it's got something connected to it. And if it's not doing what you want, what I do is I always go check clipping mask and check compound mask. And if you just release this, it does nothing. You're like, oh, but the computer now knows like that is a free shape. And now when I do this, object, envelope distort, it will do it. Really messed it up right there. Sometimes it works better than others. Sometimes I separate things out to get it to work better. I've never seen that happen. That's fun. Can I mess with it? And there's too many points. You can mess with it. It's so much fun. But that's how I did that little drop. It was basically an oval and I put in the text. That was a tangent. So that's how I got that to happen, to look like that. But again, now that I have this built in, and I spent my time and, and I did sketches and I thought about the waffle cone thing and drew things out. But this is my poster. Now my flyer will match the poster and my tent will match the poster and my, like everything will match this. I'm not going to add in new colors. I have a color base. I'm not going to add in new effects. I'm not going to all of a sudden start doing, this. Logos. I'm not going to all of a sudden just be like, oh, I think on one of them, I'm going to add, I don't even know how to add it. Shit. All of a sudden I'm going to add a drop shadow for some reason. Just don't. Like, there's no reason to add those things. Because then, here's the other thing that you guys need to know. Like, yeah, that's set on multiply, but everybody does shadows as black, and shadows should be a color. But then you're introducing a new color, yeah, just don't. There's no reason to, and then like all of a sudden you're like, well, why is there a shadow there but not on anything else? And you're like, well, then fix things. So don't add as you go. Keep it very consistent. We're building a brand. This has never happened before. This event, you are the starter. And so everything needs to match. Everything needs to go along and look the same because nobody's seen this before. And if you have one thing that looks totally different than another, people aren't going to associate them as being the same event. And so that's why you start this. That's why you develop a brand. And that's why when you work with other brands, you have to read their brand guidelines. You have to go through that process and be like, I need to match that exactly. That's why we do the media. That's why we do those discoveries. And that is you're learning to match. It needs to look like who you're representing. And that's a major part of your job as a graphic designer. Happens across the board. Like, that's all I did when I was in the industry. It's like we worked for major companies that already had a look and feel. And so everything we developed for them had to match that look and feel. And you are creating that. And so you need to be very like clear in your development of the brand to make sure that you're matching everything perfectly. So, like work on those logos, play around. Let's see some variations. You never know. Change some colors, dibble dabble, try black and white. I actually love this black and white now that I see it more and more. I'm really liking that. It's just it's a throwback to that even more cartoony look. But I'd probably stick with the pink. I think I'm going to stick with this. and then I'll develop a poster that matches the style, because this one that I did in the past, none of this is usable. This doesn't match that style at all. So I will go through and make a new one over the weekend, Sunday, probably on Sunday, Monday, and develop that more to show you like where you can go with certain ideas and how to develop it more, and then how that goes down the line for development of a new brand. A lot of times, I don't know if I put it in here, like keep it simple. Always start simple and then build it, or do the reverse. And I say that in a question mark, do it in reverse. Meaning, let's see if it says it in here. Oh, I don't have it in here. One thing to talk about is general design, and like when you're doing something, is when you're finished with a design like this at this stage, you should like look at it, like step away, stop, go eat something, watch a show, eat something, work on a different project, come back to it, look at it, and then be like, what don't I need? Is there anything I added in here that is like a one-off or a single thing that like you don't do anywhere else? So like I say, if you have a shadow on the logo, but why? Is it needed? Just remove it. If it's not used anywhere else, do you need it? Like what, I have a line here, but it's not like I just did it once. Like it's consistently used more than once. Like I have matching items here to here, color to color, but then you go through and be like, what's not needed? Can I remove stuff? Can I make it simpler? It's like I was talking with this, like working on this logo. If I'm down to, what I say, 4 colors, blue, orange, brown, magenta. Blue, orange, brown, magenta. Can I get it down to only 3 colors and still keep it? And then that's even a simpler design. Like how can you almost like minimize the amount of problems you'll run into? Because this is actually, these two are the exact same design, and all I did was remove the light magenta from that. So these can be used in conjunction, and they still fit the same parameters. I'm not introducing anything new. I'm actually taking one thing away. So play around, have some fun. I will check over everything. I'll check over your logos tomorrow. Tonight is the AdWorkers event. I'm going to go to it, see what's happening in Milwaukee in design. And then I should hit this up tomorrow or early into Saturday. I have some meetings tomorrow that interject into the day. So I'll get back to you. I'll look at your logos. I'll tell you which one I like the most, if there's one that's preferred, or I'll tell you to go with your preferred one if they're all really good. You got some time tonight. If look, make sure everything is big and bold. Like this is supposed to be fun and it's custard and kids and crazy. Make sure it's not like fine dining. There's gonna be so much custard on that street, dropped ice creams. I don't know if you guys ever gone to Cops Custard, and it's like the ground is just covered with thousands of dropped custards from years and years, and every time it rains it's more sugar. So have some fun, enjoy. I'll get back to your stuff, and you just reach out to me if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. Oh, is there any now? Actually, I should ask. Any questions, comments, or concerns now? All right, cool. If you missed any of this, I will be posting it within the next 10 to 15 minutes. It'll be up there. You catch the beginning, and yeah, I'll talk to you later. Take it easy. Bye-bye.